Hello, my name is Dr. Ayo. I am a medical doctor in the NHS in the UK, and this is my channel, Step by Step Lab Explained. Is this your first time on my channel? Please kindly subscribe so that you can get notifications when release new videos. So, I would be talking about a common question I've been asked, and that is how do you get into academics and research as a doctor in the UK? So, because many international medical graduates, in fact, all medical graduates did not train in the UK, getting into academic and research can be a little bit challenging because the pathway may not be very clear to them. So, how do you get into academic and research in the UK? One thing is you need to be interested, very, very interested. Many people think, oh, academic and research is very easy. It's not very easy. It is very, very time consuming. Very, very time consuming. So you need to have lots of interest. Then, apart from having lots of interest, you need to be able to seek for opportunities and be able to tell people you're seeking for such opportunities. So, for example, if you're at work, you need to tell your colleagues, your consultants, your registrars, they need to know that you're very, very interested in research and academics and teaching. You need to let them know because some of them have opportunities and they're looking for people to help them with particular researches. And you need to show interest so that they can ask you to help with the research and you may get your name on some of these publications and get familiar with the research process. Apart from this, if you're struggling to get into research, I would advise doing a postgraduate certificate in medical or clinical education in a very good university. Some of them will give you some introduction to academic writing, which is very, very useful. So if you know about academic writing, you will be able to start up research writing, article writing on your own. So if you're struggling to get into mainstream research, then you can start doing things like writing letters to the editor, writing a case report, which are really easy to write. They're not difficult to write and not difficult to publish, but you must know about academic writing to even think about writing these things. You know, things like referencing and how to submit to journals, and those are very important things that you need to know about. But if you're very serious about research, and you've not had the opportunity so far, at least you should write a case report and a letter to the editor. That is the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum. And because the challenge with research is this. Unfortunately, there is a bias. If you're just coming and showing interest and are trying to apply for research posts, they'll most likely reject you if you don't have any research experience at all. But if you've got one or two publications, even if it is case report or letter to the editors, it makes a whole lot of difference. That's my experience so far. I've applied for a few research posts, and it makes a whole lot of difference. If the difference between I don't have any publication at all, they immediately say that they absolutely lose interest in you. They completely lose interest. That's my experience so far. But even if you tell them that, oh, I've published a case report or a systematic review or a letter to the editor, in fact, you score more. So so a case report and letter to the editors, they are very easy to write. And you can get your colleagues or your consultant to help you. I mean, we all see interesting cases at work and that we can write on. And if you're starting up, it may be difficult to publish in difficult journals, or it may be too expensive to publish in very competitive journals. Like there are some like BMJ, for example, can be very, very competitive, and some American journals can be very, very competitive. But there are a lot of other journals. Main thing is to ensure you're not publishing in a predatory journal. And it is important, it is advisable to check here that your journal is PubMed indexed before submitting to them, because some of these journals are charged very high amount of money, and some of them are just after your money, not after the quality of what you're publishing. So ensure that the journal is peer reviewed. Ensure it is very good advice to ensure that the journal is PubMed indexed. At least you'll be sure that you're not publishing in a predatory journal. So case report and letter to the editors are good places to start. Then if you've tried your hands on letter to the editors and case report, then you can try systematic reviews. That is a little bit more complex. You may need someone that have done it before to actually guide you through. But if you can publish a systematic review or a meta-analysis, that is counted as a research, because a systematic review or meta-analysis is a secondary research, and it carries it looks good on your CV. To be honest, if you've published one, then you are very good. You're very good, and it's less expensive to publish compared to doing a primary research, maybe a clinical trial, for example. I mean, unless you are a top consultant and you have funding, it's very difficult to do clinical trials or experimental studies. So those are for people at the top of the research world. But when you're starting off, you start off with things like systematic review. So unless you have a consultant or a researcher that wants to get involved in a primary research they are doing, then that would be great if you can. But if you don't have anyone that wants to include you in their research, or that wants to help you get into research, starting off with systematic review and meta-analysis would be a good idea. Starting off with systematic review and meta-analysis or case reports and letter to editors would be a good starting point. And if you're yet to check my video or to see my video on how to check if a journal is PubMed indexed, check my video on how to check if a journal is PubMed indexed. It's going to guide you through the ABC of it. Thank you very much. See you in my next video. Bye.